don't have true social. It doesn't matter how you feel about Trump, doesn't matter how you feel about his administration, that side, okay? True social could be a slight advantage for
Hey
you
guys,
because
so it is Sunday and we are getting ready for another week on the market. And I definitely wanted to make this video because we are yet back at the $100 mark on oil. And so if you've seen in the previous videos, or if you're in my trading community or Facebook, wherever you may be, outside of YouTube as well, you know I've been talking about every time that oil begins to spike, you've seen it across the board from many people, right? Oil spikes, the market goes down, market's red. And so the last time we were up at 119, of course, the market was red. And so we got this Iranian war, all this geopolitical tension happening, um, everything from recession, market crashes, inflation talk, all of that. Okay. So what I do want to do is I do want to take you guys to the charts for a few things that you can most definitely keep your eyes on. And I definitely want to come over here to um, crude oils futures to kind of look at their charts as well. And a number of other places where if oil is spiking, who's up? Who's running, right? And when oil is up, who's down? Who is in the red, which is most of the market. And why is that? Because everything that we do in our personal life, even in business, relies on oil. Our personal lives, gas is high, we're limiting our spending because, of course, we got to put a ton of money in our tank, right? We at home. If it ain't work, if it ain't getting the kids to school, if it's not somewhere that we just have to be, we likely send down somewhere because we know that gas is spiking like crazy, resulting in us having to put more money in our tank. And as businesses, Amazon, think about FedEx, think about all of these companies that rely heavily on the logistics side of things to where it takes a ton of money to fuel up these hundreds of thousands of vehicles that they have on the road every single day. And let's not forget about the airlines. So, a number of them that I definitely want to look at with you guys really quickly, and as well as coming over to some of the ones that we can definitely expect to be in the green in the event that oil holds up above $100 when the market opens up on Monday. I'm over here to crude oil futures. So as you guys can see right now, we are sitting at 101.69. I'm gonna be flipping it. So right now, 102 was the point that it was at on March 16th. Getting above that, as you guys can see where it acted as some resistance here and here. And you guys see I had my alert turned on this white line here because that right there is that level that we begin to break back above that. There's a good chance that this thing closes above. We can start to see things go higher, especially with everything that's going on with the administration and this Iranian war. Okay. And so that's where we are. The all-time high was sitting at 119.48. Okay. And our most recent high, which we've been kind of holding below since, has been about 102.44. So getting back above that, we are definitely going to see this thing push. Probably going to push up, especially as things continue to come out. Trump keeps saying that there's negotiations, there's talks. Iran keep coming back out saying ain't no talk happened, nothing that's talked. We've talked about nothing. We haven't agreed to nothing. We are not going out until our demands are met. Pretty much, of course, catching the man in a lie every single time. And like they said, the main reason Trump keep doing little stuff like that is he knows that his true social posts and everything that he says in the conference is going to have a huge impact on the market. Okay, when he needs to settle the market, he comes out and announce something that's not true or just something off the top of his head to get this thing settled. Okay, so one of the things, secondly, I want to take you guys over here to this heat map. Now, there's a good chance that this thing has to reset, of course, but there's a good chance that this is exactly what the market is going to look like tomorrow. But one space that we know is going to be up as oil continues to spike is the energy mineral sector. Okay, we have XOM, we have CVX, we got COP, Fame, Marathon, Oxy, all of these companies. Okay, they heavily rely on oil. These are oil and gas companies. We go to a Marathon gas station, we go to a Chevron, right?
All of these companies are likely going to be up in the event that oil continues to spike. Okay. And we're definitely going to see things like the electronic technology sector down, trade, retail. I mean, retail trade, the consumer sector, and things like that, because, when we're in fear of recessions, inflation, rising oil, what are we doing? We're cutting back on our spending. Now, one of the things, though, that I usually like to come over here and see is that even though we may be cutting back on our spending with big box stores, we're looking to the discount stores, right? Things like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, those type of places. So it's kind of 50-50 with them. And then also Booking. Booking has a stock split coming up in April, but when gas or oil is increasing, we expect the operational costs of airlines and things like that to really increase because of the cost of oil. And so things like Booking will likely be down because that travel space is going to take a huge hit from those airlines taking a huge hit. Okay. So just a few things that we are definitely going to have in store on tomorrow. So this is just now. Okay, this is from Friday, so we definitely will see this thing reset big time in the morning come Monday. Another thing that someone asked me about was what about the automotive space? Okay, the automotive space, Tesla, Neo, Ford, we have a ton of them, right? General Motors, they I think they were pretty much asking me about the electric cars, right? EVs. They don't rely on gas. And so sometimes Tesla, Neo, even Ford, all of these companies that have electric vehicles tend to see a little bit of an upside. Not all the time, okay? But Tesla and Neo, Rivian, RIVN, they may also see a bit of an upside due to the fact that these are electric vehicles, okay? They are not relying on gas or oil. They're relying on electricity powering them things up. So they could definitely see some upside in terms of everybody else kind of coming down. So sometimes the automotive space does have the ability to kind of go beyond everything else on the market. Okay. DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, all of them are what? They rely on transportation, they rely on logistics. We got things like Uber and we have things like Lyft. They can also take a nice little hit sometimes, but there's also an upside here that I had a conversation with a student. It's the fact that when gas is high, right? You probably don't want to have to gas up your own car when you can probably pay 8, 10, $15 to get a ride to and from wherever you need to go versus having to put 30, 40, $50 in your car and it's probably still not filling it up. There's a lot of things to take into consideration here. Then we got FedEx, UPS, hundreds of thousands of trucks on the road Monday through Sunday, taking packages from one warehouse to another, delivering packages from one house to another all day long. Heavy logistics in these spaces. And so they will definitely see a nice hit or impact from this oil spiking the way that it is. And of course, we have Delta here, which is the airlines, and all of the others. Okay, we got Delta, American Airlines, United, got JetBlue, all of them. Okay, so a ton of them for you to also keep your eyes on. And so we're currently up at 102. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we are maybe halfway there. Just kind of depends on how things go. And also, I'm gonna say this because I said it several times. If you don't have True Social, it doesn't matter how you feel about Trump, doesn't matter how you feel about his administration, that side, okay? True Social could be a slight advantage for you because Trump will post something before the market opens sometime, and what he posts plays a huge part in how the market is going to react when it opens. And you having True Social, you catch it before the mainstream media does, and you know how to react when that thing happens. Okay, so I know I do have True Social. Um, a lot of times I be in them comments disagreeing with half of the stuff. And it's crazy how many people are agreeing with a lot of the stuff that he does. But hey, True Social is Trump's social media platform. So it's to be expected. But my main thing over there is to have a advantage for when that man posts something. And I know that once it hits the market, I know whether I need to come out of my trade, whether I need to probably position myself to enter the trade because I already know what's about to go down. Okay, so I thought I'd put that out there. Now, the last thing I kind of want to look at was defense stocks and how the defense space has been one of the ones I've been asked about the most because, you know, we have to think about something, okay? Wars are temporary, okay? Geopolitical tension is temporary. Even if we go way back to 2020 when we had the pandemic. These type of events that may be hitting the market hard are always temporary. The market always rebound. Trump is literally doing what he did the first time he was in office. And the best part about understanding the market and understanding these charts is you catch on to patterns that happen over and over again, especially when you have the same person back in office doing the exact same thing to the market that he did the first time around. And understanding that also helps you understand how to navigate everything that's taking place. And this defense space right now, of course, we know is booming and at the moment. And think about it. Trump's sons pretty much invested heavily in defense and tactical companies as well as defense drones before Trump even made his strike on Iran, the very first one. So it's like he's doing the same thing. He's putting wealth in the pockets of his people the same way he did the first time he was in office. And the ones that are running scared, that are regular people like you and I, are the ones that are going to lose at this battle every single time. What you have to understand is that you have to play the game the way that they are. Defense is now, it's happening now. Yes, cool. However, that should not be your primary focus because in the long term, everything else will rebound. And defense stocks will likely go back to being stable because the war is either over, things have died down, somebody has taken their loss, and we have moved on to other things. And that is what happens with the market every single time. And so you may try to go too hard in defense just because we have the war going on right now. A year from now, 2 years from now, 2.5, 3 years, you like, okay, it's not moving. It's not doing anything. It's correcting. It's coming back down. That's because you took a trend. No, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't say a trend. I was kind of going back to 2020, which I do so in a minute, but you're taking a event that's taking place now and you're not thinking about the long term. And what I was trying to say was COVID. People hopped on that trend where people were pivoting to face masks, pivoting to protective gear, and they tried to start whole businesses off that and invest in companies based on that. When COVID was going to end at some point. Outside was going to open back up. People were not spending a ton of money on masks, these face shields, hand sanitizer, gloves, all of that. It died down. That was a trend. And so we had to think long term. What was going to happen after that? And that was one of those reasons why I started a new Charles Schwab account because I started buying up heavy when everything was on sale in 2020 and that has been like an amazing journey on its own, considering I haven't even added to that account in years because everything that I invested in, even the things that I traded and did leaps on, I just let them go because you already know that the market is going to rebound at some point. And so we can't think short term when certain things are happening because we get to put all of our eggs in one basket based on a war that's happening. And then that stuff starts down once the market starts rebounding. So that's my stance on defense. You can invest in it, but in my opinion, a pullback, a very nice pullback, a correction in that defense space would really open me up more to wanting to actually invest in that space to kind of see how this thing goes. Okay. So it could be anything from Lockheed, let's see, we got RTX, Lockheed Martin. I have shares in all of these companies, okay? I do invest, and I've invested in them for a while, but I'm not excited about investing in them right now because of where we are. And once this stuff dies down, I'm looking for us to come way back down, okay? This right here was early this year, back in January up in here, okay? Getting back to this little area here would be okay. Now let me see how this works. We get to breaking below this lowest point right up in here around 619. All right, now let me start looking for some opportunity to kind of average down on some additional shares. And one of those areas is I'm looking to come back to those low 500s. Okay, you see where we kind of had that resistance up in here, finally got that break, and it's kind of been on a run. When did Trump make his first attack on Iran. That was what, early February. So we have to kind of react to things based on what's going to be long term, and we kind of have to react and make sure that we're prepared for the short term things that will eventually die down. Then we have things like RTX. Okay, that was another one that has been heavily mentioned in terms of, what do you think, what did you think? Listen, I'm waiting for a pullback to come back heavily before I say, oh, I'm just going to buy up. The only people who will really, really win with these things were the ones who got in before the attacks happened, and we already know who those people were. So I have some areas that I'm kind of watching for us to pull back before I jump in. Be quite honest with you, I would love to see RTS come back to around those 150, and I'm talking about a major correction on coming back down. Okay, so once we really start seeing things die down and breaking some of these lower barriers, then I would be interested in potentially averaging down, but I'm not too excited about it. And the last one that I do have a bunch of shares in is TDY. Okay. Now, this one here, they have a lot of things going on there, and everything from aerospace, also defense electronics. Now, I started on this one much, much earlier. Okay. Before we even got up here to these 500s, I have 22 shares in this one that I've been pretty much holding. And if you guys notice where we're getting back to, right around at 595, we broke below that area, and we have a gap down here that actually needs to be filled. And so with this getting below this point here, that it hasn't been since, what, that is October 2025, breaking and holding below that definitely opens the door for us to get back to those 580s and then start coming a little bit lower. You already know where the things are going to go. Okay, so when you have those urges to just jump in based on what's happening right now, remind yourself this is temporary. Things pull back, things correct. These same stocks become stable, they die down. And my main focus should be waiting to allow the dust to settle and then hopping in for some longer term trades, getting in some shares, averaging down if you already have some shares in the company, and going from there. This was just a video to kind of get you guys to, get a feel for what we got coming tomorrow. Well, I wouldn't say tomorrow, but this week, because if oil continues to spike, the market will likely be red. This here is what will separate the actual investors, the actual traders, from those who just like jumping in just because they see something rallying right now. Okay, so keep those things in mind. Keep all on your radar. Depending on what platform you're looking at, you can always just look at CL and what'll happen, or you can like go to futures, and that crude oil futures will definitely pop up, and you will be able to take a look at that. Okay, so keep this in mind. Keep your heat map up if you have one, to kind of see who's red, who's green, who's neutral, who's reacting in what way, and look for some opportunity, but don't force the opportunity if there is none there. Stick to whatever your game plan has always been, even when the market is looking the way that it's looking. Okay, don't try to go in and chase something just because the market is pouring down. Allow some sort of setup to present itself to you before you hop in, so that you don't put yourself in any bad positions. Okay, and that's the same thing for the stocks that may be pushing up. Stick to your game plan, don't chase, don't get FOMO, and most definitely, if you do enter in a trade, do not overstay your welcome, because we never know what's going to go down. And that's going back to Trump. When he see the state of the market, he comes out and say anything, your inputs, the market just shot up. Whether it's SPX, whether it's Dow, whether it's NASDAQ, SPY, whatever you may be trading, it shoots up out of nowhere. Make sure you keep that on your radar and keep that in mind as you go and navigate those waters on this week. All right. So I genuinely hope this helped. I hope you guys can find some opportunity. And if you can't find any opportunity, that's okay. Sit back, relax, protect your capital, because that is the name of the game. And that's how we stay in the game. All right. So I hope this helped. And I'll see you guys on those charts.